Let's get into it. I just wanted to go over my trade that I took today on Nvda and do a recap on this. Now, like I've said in the past, um, the only way I want to do trade recaps is if it's educational. I don't care to show you my P&L, how much I've made or lost. You're going to see that anyway on the live trading sessions if you watch those. But I want everything that I upload to be educational. And out of every trade and recap that I put up, I believe that today was honestly the most educational one. So I got a couple of keynotes here that I do want to hit on that's really going to benefit you and help you out. And this is really why I wanted to make this video. So first being, I want to go over why I took this trade. Right off our pre-market plan, we knew coming into today, this this 195.6, this was our key level to watch. I know I'm getting this video out early while market is still open. I have a lot of stuff to do today, and I wouldn't have time to do this later, so I just want to get into this now before I leave. So we knew our key level here was 195.60. This was our key level here because I said as long as we are above this level, we are bullish bias, and if we fall below this, we are bearish bias on this name because that is a break of structure on the higher time frame. And you can clearly see as soon as we gave this level up, we fell and trended to the downside. That is not a coincidence. That's a beautiful analysis. But like I said, as long as we are above 195.60, we are bullish bias on this name. So the main thing about this video, and the reason why I feel like it's the most important, is because today was really a psychological day. As we know, trading psychology is a real thing. We always hear that, and maybe it takes a while to understand that. But today, at least for me, today took a lot of mental capital, even though it was a winning day. And I'm going to break down why, right? So overall, that was the game plan. Plan our trade our plan. We executed perfectly, which was looking for this pullback off this 185.60, looking for the long side, and we ended up getting that. Today was a very solid day. Now, here's the lesson in today, and my mistake that I did today that I want to share with you is I carried yesterday's baggage into today. Now, what do I mean by that? Yesterday, if you watch my live trading session, I was a little irritated, right? We waited over pretty much a week for the pullbacks on all these names, right? SPY, Hughes, Nvidia, AMD. Every single trade yesterday, right off our pre-market plan, played out perfectly, except for Apple that was still stuck in the channel. Everything played out on the dot. I'm human, right? So I felt a little bit of FOMO. I felt a little bit of frustration that, man, I did my job, I made the analysis, but I didn't catch that trade. I didn't catch that day. I felt like yesterday was a day where I missed out on a big payday. Now, of course, I was disciplined. I didn't chase anything. I didn't let FOMO kick in. I was a cash day. It was a cash day yesterday. So I say all that to say my mistake was carrying that baggage into today, but I stuck to my rules and I followed my game plan. Now, this is what I mean, right? All this is easy to say in hindsight. Now that price action has developed and we're shooting to the downside, but we're not gonna focus on that. The reason today was a big psychological day for me is, okay, I just broke down to you yesterday that I was a little frustrated that we missed this move during the pre-market. I broke all this down. We got the break, we got the retest, and this thing trended higher all of yesterday. We knew that, we saw that, we weren't able to get into that. How do you know names trended, right? We ended up breaking through the high day. So pre-market, we got the break, we got the retest, we retest the high of day, we retest our key level and continue higher. So when I see this, and I had a nice analysis and a good game plan coming into the day, and I missed that, a little bit of irritation's there, right? I'm human just like you. So my mistake was carrying that into today. But this is how following your rules save you. So I felt the same thing was occurring today. We got the break, we got the retest. Give me one sec. We got the break, we got the retest, and buyer stepped in. You can see we got the retest during pre-market. In my mind, I'm thinking, oh man, this thing's happening again. I already missed out yesterday. I don't want to miss out on that today. So let's zoom in here on the intraday, and I'll break this down a little bit more thoroughly. So if you know how I trade, I do not trade the first 2 minutes of market open. That is a very strict rule of mine, a very strict rule. I do not trade the first 2 minutes of market open. Now, let me explain to you how the baggage that I carried in today, right, from yesterday, affected me. But being disciplined and being aware of my emotions is what saved me, right? Following our rules is what saved us. So, like I said, all this is easy to say in hindsight, but let's just stick in the moment when market just opened. I instantly see we got a dip and rip, and I feel the impulsiveness inside of me taking over. I want to take this trade. I'm thinking to myself, you got to be kidding me, bro. I missed it again. You're kidding me. I knew this is my game plan. This is exactly what I'm looking for, and I missed my trade again, right? Why? Because I'm focused on yesterday. I'm focused on yesterday. That was my mistake. So even though today was a winning day and it was a great trade, I brought in yesterday's baggage into today. Something Mark Douglas teaches is every trade is unique, every trade is different, every day is different. There are no correlations. Yesterday had absolutely nothing to do with today, and today has nothing to do with tomorrow, and tomorrow has nothing to do with Monday. There is no correlation. But this is where, right, my rules save me. So that being said, I'm human, just like you. I feel the impulsiveness. I want to take this trade. As you know, I don't trade the first 2 minutes of market open. We ended up getting this instant dip and rip. Instantly, I feel like, bro, you're kidding me. You're kidding me. Like, I miss it again. If you watch that live trading session from today, I end up breaking down why I don't trade the first 2 minutes. And I have my contracts ready. Coming into today, I said to myself, Nvidia is going to be the main watch for me because this is the only ticker, right, that's opening up near a key level. Apple wasn't and Tesla wasn't. So this is my main watch coming into market open. I guess that I get the instant dip and rip, and I feel a little upset. I feel frustrated. I feel impulsive, and I was a half a second away from taking that trade. I was very, very close to taking that trade. I say all this to say, even though I'm a profitable trader, I'm a consistent trader, I'm just like you, right? I still get these feelings. I still get the fear of missing out. I still get that impulsiveness feeling. I don't ever get upset or revenge trade, but frustration kicks in. But when you become a disciplined trader and you're strict, right? You notice those things. And that's where I really started to take off in my journey is notice what you notice. Be mindful of your emotions. I felt myself being impulsive. I felt myself almost justifying myself to take this trade, even though I know I shouldn't. And it's so crazy, right? How the mind works because in this moment, I'm giving myself a numerous amount of reasons to take this trade. I'm thinking, hey, it's a dip and rip. If I take this trade long, right? My stop loss is just a low a day. That's a good risk to reward. Why not? But I'm practicing bad habits. It takes 40 days to create a habit. I don't want today to be day one of creating a bad habit. So that being said, it took a lot of mental capital for me to not take that trade. That's number one. Number two, you can see dip and red, this thing pushes to the upside. Buyer step in aggressively on this candle here. Very aggressive. Once again, I'm holding my water. If you watch this live trade, you hear me say, if I miss this trade, so be it. That's too aggressive of an entry for me. Now remember, I trade on the 2 minute time frame. You can see up here. I trade on the 2 minute time frame right up here. So I'm thinking to myself, this candle hasn't even closed yet. That's in a very aggressive entry. At the time, and I remember I looked at the time, it was 6:33. That's too aggressive for me. I'm thinking that to myself. Now, remember, something that I always tell you guys, we are risk managers before we are traders. I am not a trader. I'm a trader second. I'm a risk manager first. Every time I enter a trade, I do not care about how much money I will make. I do not think about how much money I can make. I am always thinking, how much can I lose if I am wrong on this trade? You've seen me plenty of times skip trades because, hey, I felt like it wasn't worth the risk. The momentum wasn't there. So I really want you to write this down because this is key. There's a difference between missing a trade and skipping a trade. Skipping a trade means you don't take it because you believe it's not worth the risk. That is skipping a trade. Missing a trade is, hey, it's set up. I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared. This and that. That's missing a trade. But skipping a trade is, hey, on a technical standpoint, your setup did occur, but you believe that it wasn't worth the risk. So you hear me say in the live trading session, you know what? If I miss this trade, so be it. I don't think it's worth the risk because it's so aggressive. Market just opened at 6:30. This sets up and shoots to the upside at 6:33. Now, like I said, where did I go wrong? I'm carrying yesterday's baggage into today. I'm only thinking about yesterday we have the dip and rip and this thing trended to the upside. So I'm human too, right? I'm a trader too, just like you. And I still have these emotions, but I notice them now. I'm mindful of them. I'm strict on them. So I got the guy on my left shoulder saying, hey, Kel, take the trade, take the shot. And I got the guy on my right shoulder saying, no, follow your rules, be patient, be conservative, don't chase this, don't let FOMO kick in. I would be lying to you guys if I said I did not feel FOMO in that. Perfect dip and rip. I knew this was coming. We were looking to take a trade off of 195.60. I felt the wave of impulsiveness take over me, and I almost took that trade. But I said, hey, if I miss this, oh well, so be it. You also hear me say, you know what? If this thing pulls back and I see buyer step in, I'm taking my shot. That's exactly what happened. I was very patient. I didn't let my emotions take over me. I control my emotions. I don't let my emotions control me. Something you always hear me say is our job as traders is to control our risk and control our emotions. It is not our job to control the outcome of a trade, and that's exactly what happened today. So I really wanted to break that down. That's really the main lesson in today's video is even though it was a winning day, my mistake was carrying yesterday's trading session into today. There's no correlation. That's my mistake. But the main thing here is, hey, even though I trade just like you, I still go through these things. If you really want to take off to that next level, be mindful of your emotions. If you feel impulsive, don't ignore that. Acknowledge that in the moment. If you feel like FOMO is kicking in, don't ignore that. Acknowledge that in the moment. Get your hands off the mouse, off the keyboard, and say, okay, why do I feel this way? Right? You shouldn't feel like that. So if you do, don't ignore it. Acknowledge it. And that's exactly what separates good traders from great traders, disciplined traders from non-disciplined, profitable from non-profitable. I promise you, the most successful traders show up every day and they do the exact same thing. So that was really today's lesson, right? We planned our trade, we traded our plan, but most importantly, right, it was a psychological battle for me today. And I don't know if a lot of you felt like that. I felt like, man, yesterday everything set up, everything trended to the upside yesterday. And I felt like, man, I missed a really big payday and I carried that baggage into today, but I was mindful of my emotions. I didn't convince myself to take this trade off the instant dip and rip, right? We got that. That looked really good. I'm thinking to myself, bro, you're kidding me. We're going to push all the way back up again and I missed this again. But I stayed true to myself. I stayed true to my system. I don't trade the first 2 minutes. We got that instant retest, but it was very aggressive. It was only 6:33, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm going to wait for this pullback. If buyer step up, I'm going to take my shot. That's exactly what happened. Now, let's go here to TradeZella. Very solid day, right? This was a 17% trade. And you're going to see this in the live trading session where I managed to trade on the 5 minute time frame. And you'll see how aggressively buyer stepped up. We ended up entering that trade on a hammer stick candle that was forming. And I don't trade my P&L. I do not trade my P&L. You know that. I was instantly up roughly like 8 to 10%. And I waited for the body of that candle to close pretty much like on the 5 minute time frame, pushing into the high of day. That was a super solid trade. If you can see here on my running P&L, I was in zero drawdown. This thing shot straight up to the upside, and I'm very happy with myself. The reason for that being is understanding market context and structure. You can see I pretty much sold into that high day. I sold as a whole. I didn't even scale out. Let me go on the 2 minute here. It looks a little better. And that led to the sell-off. So it was, I believe there's no such thing as a perfect buy or a perfect sell, but that was beautiful execution. Just understanding that, being patient, waiting for buyers to step up again and take my shot. So today was a very solid day. And the reason, right? I mean, this was a 17% trade in a couple of minutes. I got in at 6:36. I got out at 6:38. So you can only imagine, right, what these cons paid when we got the instant dip and rip and we pushed up into the high day. I didn't even sell really into the high of day. So these contracts went over 20%. So that was just my FOMO, right? My impulsiveness taking over. But I held my water. I stayed true to my system. I didn't break my rule. And this is why, right? So I don't know how it was for you, but today I really wanted to hit on this. As you know, I don't care to show P&L and stuff like that. But out of all recaps, I believe today was like really the most important lesson. And I go through this too as a trader. I still have these such psychological battles sometimes, right? But systematic, robotic, right? Repeat, rinse and repeat. That's all it is. Every day you should be showing up doing the exact same thing. And this is why, right? This is why we have our rules in place to protect us, right? You always have to think about your next 100 trades. I don't care about tomorrow. I don't care about today. I don't care about yesterday. I'm always thinking about my next 100 trades. So those are, that's today's really the main lesson on, hey, I go through it just like you, but I'm mindful of my emotions, right? So that was my big mistake today, carrying yesterday's trading session into today. That was number one. But what saved me from that? What saved me from making those emotional decisions is my rules, following my system, right? Not being so eager to take a trade. Even this was a very early entry. I mean, this was at 634. Like you saw, my entry was at 636. That wasn't a very aggressive entry. Still very early in market open, but I don't trade the first 2 minutes. 633, buyer stepped in aggressively. I felt a wave of impulsiveness take over me. I'm thinking to myself, bro, again, like I missed this trade again. But I was patient. I held my water. You hear me say in real time, I'm just going to wait for this pullback. If buyer step in, I'll take my shot. If I miss this trade, so be it. So I really hope you're able to learn something from this. I want you to know I go through it too, just like you. I got emotions just like you. That's what makes us human. But what separates you, right, is being mindful of your emotions, acknowledging them, being mindful of them. Don't ignore that, right? So hope this helps. Hope you're able to learn something. Please enjoy the live trading session. Let's keep this ball rolling. Let's keep the momentum going. Today was a good day. Let's keep it going. Thanks.
Here on SPY. I can get another pullback here. I like it. Clearly see buyer stepped up here on our key level. Kind of an aggressive entry here because it's 633, so that's like 3 minutes right in the market open. So if we get like another little pullback, I like it. Just kind of want to wait and see what this market wants to do. That was a good shot there. So we'll see. Perfect. That's nice. Like I said, I don't trade the first 2 minute candle, so that was an aggressive entry. This setup at, yeah, it's only 633. So with this market pulling back a little bit, I just wanted to be a bit more conservative. Definitely watching Tesla. If Nvidia wants to give us like another pullback, I'm open to it. So we'll see. Obviously nothing really going on here on Apple. Apple's just stuck in between this channel. But there's some divergence here. First 4 minutes of Qs, red candles, and then 6 minutes now on the SPY, straight upside. So as of now, every candle has closed red for Qs, and SPY's just moving to the upside. So this was a really good shot here. That was just very aggressive for me. So like if we get like a little another pullback, I'm open to going long off that. 2 days in a row, Nvidia's really defended this 195. That's huge because, like I said, this is a breaker structure level. That's really huge. I'm kind of waiting for Tesla. Tesla seems like it wants to. Like I'd rather take Tesla over Nvidia. Like this is a good shot on Nvidia, but Tesla's really the A plus setup, as we know. So we'll see. Yeah, this market's pulling back pretty heavy. That's why, yeah, Q's is heavy. Like I'm open to Nvidia, but just with this market being so heavy, I don't know, I'm a little skeptical. Look at Apple. Everything's trying to push. Market's bouncing. SPY looks like it wants to break over the high of day. So just being patient here. I'm risking right under 195.60. So to me, it's a good shot. bit more of a conservative entry because we had the instant retest at open, but I don't really like that. You can see a lot of divergence here on these names. I want to see if we can at least get this pushing a high day. Looks good. Contracts are up like 5%. So, like I said, we can get this pushing a high day. Looks solid. This looks good. Right off the pre-market plan. This looks good. So, I'm going to be very patient here, not trading my P&L. I want to see if this market can do like a V-shaped recovery. So, we'll see. Like, buyer stepped up very aggressively there. Come on, Nvda. Give us that. Nice. Very nice. Very nice. Super solid. Damn, I did not mean to. Meant to scale out a little bit. Wait, am I still in? I think I have runners. Give me a sec. Damn. Yeah, boss shot. Solid trade. Bottom right, $3,400. Just right off the pre-market plan.